Hey everybody, I'm back. Today I thought I would do a Throwback Thursday video. It has been a long time since I did one of those. It was one of my original ideas to do a video every month where I talk about a book that I enjoyed in the past that I didn't think people talked about much anymore. And I would kind of, highlight that book so that it would live on in other readers' lives. Well, today's Throwback Thursday has a bit of a backstory, so I thought I would start with that and then I would introduce the book. I didn't start public school until I was in the 7th grade. I went to Catholic private schools until then, which were very small. It was one class per grade level. I had known, in each of the schools I knew kids from when, from preschool or pre-K all the way up to whatever grade we were in. So whether or not you were actually good friends with people, you knew people really well. So in the 7th grade, when I started public school at my local junior high, it was a bit of a culture shock, as I'm sure you can imagine. And not like in a horrible way, but I was really awkward and I was a little shy until I got to know people. It was a little rough going the first year and about half of the second year. I did have, my neighbor was there and she was a year older and really cool, so I got to sit with her friends in the morning, which was a trip. I was introduced to this system that we did not have in my private school, which was the AR system, which is Accelerated Reader. If you have never participated in that, books are assigned grade levels and point levels, and when you finish reading a book, you go on the computer and you take a quiz based on that book, and depending on how many questions you get right in that quiz, you get points. Usually you need a certain amount of points per semester or 6 weeks. And anything beyond that is just you do it on your own time for your own, for your own edification or your own whatever. There were prizes at the very end of the school year for the people who read the most points and stuff like that. But coming in to 7th grade, I did not realize this. And having always been a big reader, I was just like, oh, I like reading. I'll read that. I'll take that test, because even before I knew that they were a thing, I loved online quizzes. And I didn't have any friends to talk to at school and lunch, so I did a lot of reading. Books that I hadn't read before that you would have thought that I had read. So I think in 7th grade, I read all the way through the Chronicles of Narnia. I read all the way through the Wrinkle in Time Quartet. I read The Effect of Gamma Ray radiation on marigolds. I read The Pigman Returns, which is not as good as The Pigman. I read all of Paul Zendel's books. I read Lois Duncan. I read a lot of books that I think if I'd had friends I wouldn't have read. So I can't be too upset about how awkward 7th grade was. But anyways, I read one book that has kind of stayed with me. And by stayed with me, I mean I think about it from time to time, but I could never remember the title of the book or who wrote the book or much about it beyond the fact that there was some sort of time travel in it, and a young woman, the way that she traveled in time was she went into a giant tree that was hollowed out. And when she came out of it, she was thousands of years in the past. And that is basically all I could remember about it. And I definitely could have done some research. I'm a librarian. I know how to find books. And it's one of my passions is to find books for people when they come in and just say, so I read this book and it was about this thing and I think the cover was blue. I live for those moments. I love finding those weird, random, vague books based on vague descriptions. But there was some sort of stumbling block where I never tried to look for this book. I would just think about it from time to time. And just, I don't know if I thought I had just made it up or if I just let it be lost to the mists of time. But yesterday I was at a thrift store and I was looking through their books, like 75 cents for paperbacks, and I was looking for books that I've read before for a project that I'm going to be doing. And I was looking in the young adult section and I saw this spine and I saw this title and I immediately knew that it was this book. And I hadn't even thought about this book in about a year or so, and it was just there. It was there on the shelf in this thrift store. So, without further ado, this is the book, and it is blowing my mind. So, it's called The Ancient One by T.A. Barron. And I've shelved T.A. Barron books a lot. T.A. Barron has a bunch of books about young Merlin. And that's mostly how I know that author. But here it is. This is it. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm afraid to reread it though. What if it's not as good as I remember? I mean, I obviously don't remember very much about it, but I don't know. There is a blurb on the back from Madeleine L'Engle, though. It says, "Once in a great while, a book comes along that is so powerful and so wise that you want to shout about it. Readers young and old will enjoy the adventure, relish in the characters, and ponder the meaning of this book." So that means I gotta reread it, right? Tell me below if you think I should reread this book. If you have read it recently or ever at all, if you recognize this book at all. Let me know what you think. If not, I'll just keep it on a shelf and know that I read it one time and loved it. And I can't believe I found it again. That's so crazy. Which reminds me of another Throwback Thursday story that I'll have to come tell sometime. Okay, so that's it for me and this crazy story and this Throwback Thursday video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video down below. Yeah, like I said, comment if you think I should reread it. Maybe, I don't know, do a live reread of it or something. I don't know. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Share this book around. If you ever took an AR test, let me know how you remember them. It's weird because I have to look up AR books for people. It's so weird. Yes. So I hope you have a good day, a good evening. I hope you're happy. I hope you're safe.